The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, 90 days of boxing, day number 54. We're back, and I'm happy to be back here in a lot better spirits today than I was yesterday. Yesterday, I was just tired. But today, guys, today I'm going to give you guys a proper live. I'm going to give you guys a proper live late night boxing talk with BT. Get your questions in. Smash that like button. There's a lot to discuss, and I'm happy to be here. I hope you guys are having a good day today. Let's get to it, man. We already got a comment from our guy, Hockey. He says, going stronger for 90 days. Yeah, damn right we're going stronger. You're damn right. We may get low. We may be down, but we don't stay there. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you could have, I mean, some people think I'm a machine, but, you know, contrary to popular belief, you know, you have your good days, you have your bad days. I had some bad days recently, so just good to be here. Had a good day today. Did some training today at the boxing gym. I did 12 rounds in the bag, 6 round shadow boxing. So we did our thing, man. We get active. But as far as boxing, look, I just got done watching the Pro Box card. If you guys haven't checked it out, my post-fight review video on that, go check it out. I just posted it just now. But good card, man. Sullivan Barrera fought Hot Rod, Radivoje Kalazic. You guys may remember him. He fought Better Biev a couple years ago and got stopped. But he's been on the comeback trail. He's ranked and he's trying to push his way up the rankings. And it was a good little fight. You know, Barrera hadn't fought in damn near 3 years since he fought Zoro Ramirez in 2021. Was competitive for the first 4 or 5 rounds. You know, he actually was able to catch Hot Rod with some good shots, but then Hot Rod started boxing really nicely off that tall, long, educated jab, and then in that 10th and final round, he put together a 4-punch combination from hell, and he cleaned Sullivan Barrera, knocked his ass out the damn ring. So at 42 years old, that's got to be it for Barrera. You know, he was already on a 2-fight losing streak. He had just lost to Zordo. He had lost to Jesse Hart back in 2019. That's got to be it. You know, he's got nothing more to prove. He's a good fighter. You know, he didn't win a world title, but he was a relevant mainstay contender at the light heavyweight division for a number of years. So, good win for Hot Rod, but the real story on the card was the co-main event, actually. Nicholas Flaus, you know, the Puerto Rican fighter. He had upset some prospects, like he upset Jahai Tucker, who was undefeated, you know, top-ranked prospect. He upset not just Jahai, he upset Brian Sabayo, another undefeated prospect. And so then he fought tonight Luke Santa Maria, good fighter, fought on PBC a lot. And Luke Santa Maria got beat up and stopped in the 6th round. So we talk about in boxing. I get asked a question a lot. They say, BT, True School, how does somebody go from being the B-side to being a contender? And you do it the way Nicholas Flaus has done it. You know, you do it by beating undefeated guys consistently as the B-side. And he's now, I think, going to be a legitimate contender because, you know, 2 undefeated fighters before this fight, and then now Luke Santa Maria. I mean, I don't know how you deny a guy like Flaus a shot, you know, against better competition at 47 or 54. So we'll see how it goes from here. But otherwise, you know, a good card. Good to see you guys. See, you got my man Carlos Gomez. Good to see you, Carlos. Salute to you. Ernie V. Big ups to my guy. Ernie V says salute to BT. What do you think of Kelvin Davis, BT? I had a chance to watch his fight as well. He fought an Argentinian who was like 18-12 on the card. Kelvin needs a lot of work, man. He's not as polished as Keyshawn. I think, you know, even in that fight where he was fighting a complete can, the Argentinian fighter threw a clubbing overhand and hit him flush. So I think he's got to work on, and he's got to perfect, if he's going to be fighting at that weight class, boxing taller and more effectively, using that size to his advantage, using that reach to his advantage. Because a lot of times I just watch Kelvin, and the word that I would use to describe him is he's just very lethargic, and he seems a bit lackadaisical at times. So still a lot of development to be had with him, but I wouldn't say I'm like the highest on him. But look, fighters develop. We'll see how he progresses throughout the ranks. He's got a good team behind him. He's got Bomac and these kind of guys behind him, Team Crawford. So we'll see how it goes for Kelvin. You know, fighters are entitled to progress, and fighters are entitled to regress. So the Kelvin Davis we see now may not be who he is 2 or 3 fights from now. That kind of brings me back to my original point about Nicholas Flaus. Nicholas Flaus 4 fights ago, whatever it was, he got stopped by Janelson Figueroa. And Janelson Figueroa has been losing all these fights he's had recently. But since then, he's picked himself off the canvas and he's knocked out 2 undefeated opponents and now being a really good, solid fighter in Luke Santa Maria. So just because you take a loss or you look a certain way at a certain part of your career doesn't mean you can't get better. And it goes the other way around. Just because you reach a certain level in your career and you've achieved a certain level of greatness, it doesn't mean that you can't regress as a fighter. So that's why I always say boxing is a jealous woman. It's you got to always pay your dues. You got to always make sure you're doing the right things and trying to improve, because if you don't progress, if you're stagnating, that means you're regressing. You're not getting better. So yeah, for sure. Pro Box is great tonight. But shout out to all 10 of you here. Make sure you smash that like button. Definitely take the time to subscribe, super chat, all that good stuff. Get your questions in. Let me know what's your location, where you guys watching the live from tonight. I'm you guys know I'm in the crib. I'm in South Florida, so hope everybody's good. Carlos says, I've been loving these Pro Box cards. Yeah, they're great, man. They match the cards pretty well. They give guys opportunities, and what they do with it is on them. So I would agree. Did you do a breakdown of Zepeda versus Hughes? I haven't, man. I'll be honest with you. Like, I like Williams Zepeda and I like Maxie Hughes, but them fighting each other, it's not a matchup I'm really that excited about. So I can't really say that I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a good fight. I think Maxie Hughes will have some success early on counterpunching, but if Zepeda is who he's shown himself to be, Zepeda should be somewhere in the fight at that point. Somewhere in the fight, he should be able to outwork him, walk him down, and potentially stop him, because he is one of the, at least so far, I'm only going off what I've seen so far, he's proven himself and shown himself to be one of the premier volume punchers in the sport. And as good and as crafty as Maxie Hughes is, I just don't see Maxie Hughes counterpunching the whole fight. So we'll see how it goes. Whilst I watched the whole card and left before Hot Rod knocked, in the 12th round, Hot Rod let like a 4-punch combination go, and he knocked Sullivan Barrera right out clean out the ring. And it was a great stop. He was getting a bit like lethargic after the 4th, 5th round. He was winning a lot of rounds, but it wasn't like exciting. And then bang, that was it. You got him out of there. So go watch the highlights. Ernie V, we got Tampa in the building. We got New Jersey in the building. We got my guy Matt Graham from Australia in the building. He says Melbourne, Australia, and Pro Box making the game better. They are that they are, and I'll be at the next, not the next Pro Box show, but the one 2 weeks after the next Pro Box show. So April the 10th, the return of Angelo Leo. I will be at that card. Looking forward to it. Shout out to Golden Boy in Georgia. Yeah, shout out to everyone that's making the lives. Get your questions in. I'm in better spirits today. I was just lethargic yesterday and tired from a hard day of training and just being a little bit upset about not getting more done. But we're here. We get better. We progress. So get your boxing questions in. As far as things I've seen in the news today, probably the two big things I've seen in the news today were 2 signings. I saw that Blair Cobbs, and I just seen Blair Cobbs 2 weeks ago when I was out there in Vegas. When I went. So it's crazy, right? I went to Top Rank Gym to go interview another fighter, and he wound up not even showing up. But then while I was there, I saw Blair Cobbs. So I interviewed Blair Cobbs, and Blair Cobbs starts talking about he's looking for fights for Adrian Broner, this, that, and the third. And then today, I checked the news, and it was announced that Blair Cobbs has signed to Don King. So make of that what you will. The 2 fights, the 2 in-house fights that Don King could make for Blair Cobbs, obviously in the probably the biggest one he could make would be Adrian Broner, right? And that would be obviously a great event because they both talk a lot of trash, and the build would be a lot of fun. And then the one that's not as big of a name, but I would like to see this guy get a fight, or be Trayshawn Wiggins. Trayshawn Wiggins has been winning a lot of fights, been one of the most active welterweights in the WBA rankings. Can't seem to get the big opportunities, getting frozen out of a lot of opportunities. So those are probably the 2 most notable opponents that they could give to Blair Cobbs in the Don King stable. But he's a Don King fighter now, so make of that what you will. Some people would say that, you could kiss his career goodbye. Anyway, Shout out to my guy Shakur Marriott. Good to see you, Shakur. You know, we've been playing phone tag a little bit, been trying to get a hold of you here and there. But he says, "Man, like BT, how is life? Hope all is good. All is great, man. I was a little tired yesterday, so last 2 days have been a bit rough, but for the most part, life is good, man. God is great. Life is really good, honestly. I'm covering fights. I'm getting interviews. I interviewed Philip Hergovich the other day, so I got to edit that soon. And yeah, just been training, staying in shape, trying to keep the mind and the body sharp. So hope all is well with you. Carlos says, BT, out of all the fights that are announced so far in 2024, which one are you looking forward to the most? Angelo Leo on April 10th on Pro Box. That's the one I'm looking forward to. But apart from Angelo, I can't say the opponent because they haven't said it yet, but I know who he's fighting. So apart from Angelo Leo on the 10th of April, I would probably say the next card will probably be whenever David Benavidez fights Alexander Gvozdyk. I'm really intrigued to see how David Benavidez is going to look as a light heavyweight. So I've been asking for it for a long time. He's fighting a good, solid light heavyweight former light heavyweight champion in Alexander Gvozdyk. So I can't get mad. Shout out to Next Gen Combat Sport. He says, "You're BT. What it do, man? What it do? What it do? Good to see you again, bro. Can you shout out Debo, my brother? He's got shit. Okay, yeah. Shout out to Shakur's brother Debo. Cancer's a very serious thing. So listen, I would never wish cancer on my worst enemy. So shout out to your cousin Debo in the hospital. Prayers go out to him. Cobbs has pop, but Broner is too crafty. Now, I actually think that'd be a good fight. It'd be a good build up, but I think it could turn into a good fight because one thing about it is Adrian Broner's a straight front runner. Like he don't. I mean, especially now. Maybe when he was younger, he wasn't a front runner, but as times went on, he's become a front runner, right? So he don't throw a lot of punches after a certain amount of rounds. But Blair Cobbs even showed in the Hooker fight that even he has a bit of front runningness in him. So it's about who has more gas in the tank in that fight. I like that fight. It's a good fight. He said that he's surprised that I didn't say Inoue versus Neri. Inoue versus Neri is cool. I mean, it's a good fight. I like the fight. But again, when it comes to Inoue, it's hard for me to get as excited as I could be for him because I'm really just eagerly awaiting for him to move up the featherweight. So I'm not mad. I mean, I think it's a good fight. It's one of the best fights that he can make at 122 right now. And there's a lot of history. And I'm sure I'll get more excited about it when it comes here. But, like, that's in May. And in my mind, there's so many things that I got to do in boxing on a day-by-day basis that May is so far along away in my head. But I'm sure as time gets closer, I'll get a lot more excited about it. Because I do love Inoue and I do love watching him fight. And I do love going live for his fights. He's one of the most covered fighters on this channel. And I probably covered him more than any American boxing channel. So, obviously, Inoue is a big part of what we do here on True School Sports. I watched Sam Goodman last night. He looked really good. Granted, it was against a subpar domestic opponent. I wish he would get a world title shot against someone other than the monster. I hear you, man. Sam Goodman's a very well-rounded fighter. I still have to watch his fight. I heard he looked good, and he beat that guy up pretty good. I think he deserves the Inoue fight, honestly, because Mirza Akhmadaliev doesn't deserve it. Mirza Akhmadaliev hasn't really done much since losing, except beat a random Kevin Gonzalez, right? I think he needs to do more. I feel like Sam Goodman has been doing things the right way. He's beat TJ Doheny. He's beaten Rai Salim. He's been staying active. He's been staying sharp. He's been showing good skills. He deserves a shot, and I hope he gets it. I don't think he'll win, but I hope he gets it. Have you seen that fight card of Inoue versus Neri? It's fire. I have. You got Yoshi Takai against Maloney. You got Takuma Inoue on the card as well, going straight back into a title defense. I mean, it's a good card, but it's not like it's a good card. But you asked me, what cards am I most excited about? The Inoue card is good. I'm sure I'm going to be very hyped for it once it gets here. But right now, the hype for me on that fight ain't what it will probably be in a couple weeks when it gets closer. So just being honest right now. That's what I'm saying. I would love to see Sam Goodman versus Inoue in Australia. I think the fight makes a lot of sense. I know that Australia does have a lot of Japanese people there. Japan, I mean, it's not like super close to Australia, but it ain't super far either. So I would like that fight. have Inoue start boxing in some different countries besides Japan. I've been watching Japan, man, and I think Shakur Crooks that do. But if it gets signed, they're gonna play it up. Well, look, man. When it comes to Shakur, like I'm tired of Shakur and Boots and all these guys. Everyone just saying that nobody beats them. They gotta fight the fights because as I learned with Raymond Ford and Otabek Komatov, they fight the fights for a reason. Yeah, a guy could win the fights on paper. Yeah, you might think he's gonna beat a guy, but until the fight actually happens, you don't know what's gonna really happen on fight night. So Next Gen says it's a good domestic Japanese card. Yeah, the Inoue card, it's solid. It's a good card. You know. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. As someone that has been talking about Inoue fighting in the Tokyo Dome for a long time, for a card that's at the Tokyo Dome, the undercard is underwhelming. I feel like, listen, man, you got listen, and maybe this is just the American in me, all right? But when you do something at the Tokyo Dome, it's got to be big. It's got to be extravagant. You can't just be having good little fights. And I feel like for an event that's at the Tokyo Dome, they're just good little fights. Like, you should have been having all the stars of Japanese boxing on this card. Like, and that's why I'm saying you shouldn't have done Neri versus Inoue at the Tokyo Dome. That should have just been a fight at whatever venue in Japan, regular venue in Japan. And you should have had, like, Tanaka, Nakatani, Kenshiro, the heavy hitters, the real deal heavy hitters of Japanese boxing should have been on the same card together. That's how they should have did it. But they don't let BT make these kind of decisions. I just tell you guys what I think and the way I think they should do things. I don't pay the money. I don't make those decisions. It's just my thoughts, Adrian88 says, "What up, homie? Did you see Solon Barrera get brutally knocked out by Hot Rod? What did you think of the fight?" I just dropped my post-fight review video on that fight, so go check that out if you haven't already. But it was a good fight. Barrera did what he could with what he had at 42 years old. I thought in the first 4 rounds he buzzed Hot Rod a couple times with the right hand, because Hot Rod has this mistake where he pulls straight back out. Like, he literally pulls straight back out, stays tall as hell, and makes himself a very hittable target. So Barrera was able to capitalize on that a couple of times, and he put Hot Rod in some trouble. But then Hot Rod started to get his range down around round 5, 6, 7, started boxing a bit smarter, using that long range, and running him into some counter shots as well. And then round 10, I don't know what happened. Barrera just had a lapse, and Hot Rod just unleashed a 4-punch combination from hell and knocked him out the ring. So it's a statement victory for Hot Rod. People are gonna now talk him up a little more now because of that knockout, and I would anticipate him getting a bigger fight next. As for Barrera, that's got to be the end of the line for him. Come on, man. You had a great career. You did what you could in the sport. I thought Barrera overachieved. Barrera is one of these fighters. I don't think I ever got to, he got everything he could have out of his career. I don't think his career couldn't have went any better than it did, because he lost a Ward and then got on a win streak where he was beating guys like Shabransky and Paul Parker and a couple other, good fighters. A couple of those wins were upsets as well. I think I could be wrong, but I think he might have even beat Joe Smith. But don't correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he beat Joe Smith as well back in the day. So he was doing his thing. Barrera was doing his thing, and he's been pretty much. I don't think he's been the same since he fought Bivol. So that's got to be it for him. BT, did you know at one point there was 2 Korean boxers at 112? Both had over 12 title defenses on their world championship at the same time. Too bad they never fought each other. Who were they, and what years? What year did this happen? Because this couldn't have been any time recently. Because funny enough, yesterday, because somebody had suggested on one of my lives that I go to South Korea when I go to Japan, because South Korea and Japan are really close to each other, right? So I started looking into flights to South Korea. How cheap is it? How realistic is it for me? And then I started to kind of research, I went on BoxRec. I researched, the top South Korean boxers. And, the number 1 South Korean boxer is this dude who's, 18-2-1. And, yeah, not a whole lot of top-tier male boxers coming out of South Korea. Now, we know Hu-Ming Choi, shout out to the lovely Hu-Ming Choi. I didn't know she was that attractive in real life. She's holding it down for South Korean boxing. She's the champion right now. So, I do want to go to South Korea. It is on the list now. Now that I know how close it is to Japan, I want to somehow organize it where I can go to South Korea. I can go to Japan and then I can go to Australia and then come back home to the States. That's how I want to do it, but you know, money don't grow on trees, right? We're not rich yet. JK13 says this was a long last time ago, probably in the 80s. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, because South Korea hasn't had no mailbox at the top since like Injin Chi back in the day. You know, when he fought Morales and that. So it's been a while. Isaac Bermuda says next gen. He says Shakur will not look good against a fighter like Edwin or Raymond Murataya. Yeah, man. I'm really curious to see who Top Rank's going to put him in there with, because now Shakur Stevenson talking about he's fighting in June. He's not going to fight Raymond Murataya because Raymond Murataya is fighting March 27th. So, yeah, I don't think he fights him. I don't think he's fighting Williams Pay the next either. Although I'm hopeful. I'm crossing my fingers. You know, we can hope. Brother can dream. You know, I'm tired of seeing Shakur Stevenson in there and just good little fights. There was actually a Korean boxer who was fighting in the USA and Mexico, winning by just around the mid-2010s, but he had to retire from an eye injury. Yeah, listen. Korean boxing's always been a little like, I'm not gonna sit there and say that they don't have the history that like a Japan has, but they've done some things. South Korea has done some things in the sport, and I'm starting to research South Korea a little bit more, just in general as a country, boxing wise. Ever since somebody suggested I go there, you know. But it's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Listen, man, guys, please don't be stingy. There's 23 of you here. I only have 11 likes. Hit the like button so that this video gets pushed out to more people that don't subscribe to True School Sports, so that they can become subscribed to True School Sports, and it helps the channel out. It helps the channel out, so please do that, man. I'm here 54 days in a row, one of the most consistent channels on YouTube, giving you guys that world-class boxing talk, you know. Still trying to get into my rhythm back here in South Florida. Like I haven't really been able to get back into my routine since I got back home. Like I felt sped up. You know, you get used to that Western time zone. My dad says if you get into any, everyone say shout out to Pops. If you get into any trouble in Korea, call Dennis Rodman. Yeah, I'm gonna have my boy Dennis Rodman on speed dial. I'm gonna say, what's good? What's good, Dennis? Get me out of this situation. But yeah, man, what else has been going on in boxing? I mean, Ryan Garcia, I saw Ryan Garcia was going off on Logan Paul and KSI because they were making fun of him. And he said he pretty much told them all to go F off. And Devin Haney signed with Prime, the energy drink. And Ryan was saying that Prime was satanic. So by Ryan's definition, Devin Haney satanic. So look, the build up for Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot of fun. You know, they've been touching on everything: conspiracies, influencers, child trafficking, all kinds of stuff, steroid use. I mean, do you believe Ryan Garcia with what he said about the children? With what he said he saw? I do believe Ryan. You know, I definitely believe Ryan. Because I'm gonna tell you all this, you know, I haven't been to LA too many times, but I'll tell you guys this: I got invited to I went to like this celebrity charity dinner foundation thing one time in 2022, and it's hard to put into words. It just felt satanic. There was a spirit around the place. So I already know that Hollywood is weird. I already know that the more famous you get and the deeper you get into all that stuff, the more weird shit you're gonna see. Listen, man. Bible says it clear. You know, I'm a Christian. I subscribe to what Jesus says, man. The Bible says that we battle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and high places. So, you know, there's some very evil, wicked, demonic things in this world. And I feel like, you know what? Ryan Garcia, maybe when he was a young kid, he had people get in his ear and tell him to go places. And maybe he went and he saw some things that traumatized him. I'll tell you this. Either he's a really good actor or all this stuff is really true. This is one of the two. Ryan's Bohemian Grove versus Devin Haney. Yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff going on. You know, a lot of weird things going on with this fight. That's why, honestly, I'm gonna tell you like this for anybody in the chat: don't go to this fight, because if both these guys are talking up all these like weirdo demonic things, What kind of people do you think are going to show up to that fight? You know, I don't think it's wise for anybody to go to that fight, honestly. Not saying you got to be scared, but just to be wise and to be prudent. I mean, your decision making is like, I know some people that I really really care about that might go to that fight. So I may have to go to that fight myself just to protect some people, but you know, it's not a fight I don't think people should be going to, because when you start opening up the can of worms that Ryan's opening up, and we know that Devin, you know, he's been in P. Diddy's pool and these kind of things, you just don't know what kind of people are going to show up. You know, it's not a good idea. And BT, how did you end up at a celebrity party? Did Pete? Nah. What happened was I had a friend, a guy by the name of Charles. He's a boxing fan. I know him from just going to fights throughout the years. He does real estate and stuff like that, and he lives out in Marina Del Rey in California, and he went, so I went with him, but I didn't want to stay too long, to be honest. Robert Sanchez says, "What up, BT? What's good, Robert? Shout out to you out there in Austin. You know, good to see my boy Robert showing love in Austin. Who knows what? Yeah, for sure, man. That's why with me, man, like when I was younger and I was like more impressionable, I used to always want to meet these kind of celebrities and stuff. But like as I get older, I was like, nah, man, I don't want to meet none of these people. I just want to cover the boxing. I want to live a nice, normal life, a nice, normal, you know, boring life where I just cover boxing and stay in shape and take care of my family. We don't want none of that. We don't want the limelight, you know. We don't want to go to none of those pool parties." Robert Sanchez says, "What's your Cash App?" Shit, let me it's money sign just a kid from Dania. I'll spell it for you. Hold on. We got what's the loudest? I'll get it for you in a second, Robert. What's the loudest audience reaction you ever heard for a fight? The loudest audience reaction I ever heard for a fight was probably, I'm going to say Canelo. When Canelo came out against Billy Joe Saunders, when I went to that fight in 2021 at Cowboy Stadium, that was pretty ridiculous. You know, they had 80,000 people there. Damn near all of them were cheering for Canelo, because you got to remember there was COVID going on, so the Brits couldn't fly out. So it was an all-Mexican crowd. At Money Side, yeah, just like that, you know, just like that. Robert, yeah, that's my Cash App. So if y'all want a Cash App, what Robert just put in the comments, that's my Cash App. JK13 says, be careful, BT. If you go to the Ryan versus Devin fight card, P. Diddy might convince you to go to his party. He's going to lure you by saying he has rare Nah, man. Nah, that's not going to happen. I got enough boxing posts. I don't need P. Diddy's boxing posts. We good, champ. We good. Ryan will be as ready as he can be. Win or lose, I believe he will give it his all. He knows how it feels to lose now. Yeah, and I think probably more so than the Tank fight, I think Ryan has the pride of, like, you know, look, Devin and him fought 6 times in amateurs. They're both tied at 3-3. So the winner of this fight is gonna have bragging rights. So more than just even being a champion and proving to the world that he's one of the best fighters in the world, he's also you know, I think he wants to have that one up on Devin Haney. So we'll see how it goes, man. I really hope Ryan Garcia comes and puts it all together, because I was very disappointed in his lack of performance against Tank. I thought he would do a lot better than he did, and he got beat the hell up. I do wish Ryan Garcia is okay, though. That's what I'm saying. He's doing too much. And my prayers are with him, man. My prayers are with him, and my prayers are with anybody that I know that's going to the fight to cover it. Because like I said, he's opening up a can of worms, and you just don't know what kind of foolishness might go down that night. You know, honestly, and that's why, like, even me, like, I don't even want to go, but I may have to go just to make sure certain people are okay. Which boxer have you not met that you want to meet in the future? It's a great question, man. I would like to meet. Who would I like to meet? I met a lot of people. Who would I like to meet that I haven't met yet? Probably. I haven't met Keith Thurman, so I think if I met Keith Thurman, that'd be great. If not Keith Thurman, then George Foreman. If not George Foreman, then probably Inoue, because I feel like that's where I gotta go. You know, that's destined to happen. Me and Inoue. So I guess those three. Don't feel sorry for the little rich kid. I don't feel sorry for him. I'm just saying I'm praying for the guy. I'm praying for the kid though. Exposing a lot of stuff. Shout out to all 30 of you here. Make sure you smash that like button. We had 18. Run it up to 20. You know, I gave you guys 4 minutes, so I'm back. I'm back in that mode now. I know Friday we got Callum Walsh against that Ulusanov. Not Daniel Ulusanov, but another Ulusanov. So I'm probably gonna go live for that fight. Callum Walsh. You know, see what all the Callum Walsh fuss is about, because Callum Walsh has been getting all this hype. Not like from the casuals, but like within the realms of the hardcore boxing community. I've been hearing his name a lot. Tom Loeffler's been boxing him a lot in California. So I may check that fight out and see what all the fuss is about, because it looks like he's gonna be a contender. Yeah, I think he's at 154 or 160. So I was very disappointed as well, BT. I wanted to see Ryan bringing a tank. Lackluster and anticlimactic. LMA Ryan is just an Instagram boxer at the end of the day. Well, that's not true, because Ryan is just an Instagram boxer, because Ryan had a very decorated amateur background, had over 200 amateur fights. So I don't think that's fair to Ryan. Ryan is more than an Instagram boxer, but I feel like as he's gotten more famous in the pros, he's become more of an Instagram boxer than a guy that looks the part of being a legitimate, serious world champion, you know? Callum Walsh is Dana White's favorite boxer. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of buzz about Callum Walsh. I've never seen him fight. So he's fighting Friday. So I'm probably gonna go live for it. I'm pretty sure the fight's on UFC Fight Pass. So I'll go ahead and check it out. I'll probably do a live. Is Mike Tyson knocking out Jake Paul? Pops wants to know. Should I hope so? We need. Listen, man. I will not be able. We just now got over for a Tyson Fury damn near losing to Francis Ngannou, because Anthony Joshua beat the brakes off Francis Ngannou. And now you're telling me we're going to get an even worse scenario with Jake Paul possibly beating Mike Tyson? I don't like it. I need Mike Tyson to go out there and iron out Jake Paul. But really, more than that, I would really appreciate if boxing stopped making these fights where the credibility of boxing is at stake. Like, stop making Floyd McGregor. Stop making Tyson versus Jake Paul. Stop making Ngannou versus Fury. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of having to watch these certain fights and have to cheer for the credibility of boxing to be kept intact. You know, it's pissing me off. Do you want to have Bob Arum long interview or Eddie Hearn long interview? I've interviewed Eddie before. Eddie Hearn used to follow me on Instagram a couple years ago, but then he unfollowed me like in 2022. So my dad's interviewed Bob. I mean, look, man, I'd probably want to interview Don King longer than I did when I interviewed him, because there's still so much stuff with Don King I never even touched on. The thing is, if Ryan beats Devin, the entire narrative around this whole career in boxing in general shifts. Devin is supposed to be the poster child for the new age champion. So if he beats, listen. I would love to see Ryan flip the division on its head and beat Devin Haney. It would be, it would really bring Devin Haney back down to earth as to, you know, like how good people really think he is. It'll bring his fan base back down to earth. Boxing will get another star in Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia will become a legitimate fighter. I think Ryan winning would actually be better for boxing than Devin winning, because Ryan has more crossover appeal than Devin. But I just hope that one of them, I really hope whoever wins this fight starts fighting the champion. So whether they got to fight Teofimo, fight Subriel, fight them guys, unify the division, you know? Mike Tyson is going to have to go against the script. Like, please hurt him back. Yes, like, are we really going to go through a humiliation ritual of Jake Paul knocking out Mike Tyson? Is that what's going to happen? Is that going to be part of the script? We can't do that. I mean, all those years that the entertainment industry and Don King and boxing promotions spent building up Mike Tyson, we're just going to have him get knocked out by Jake Paul? No. We got to maintain Mike Tyson's aura and his status as the baddest man on the planet, and he needs to knock the fuck out of Jake Paul. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. What was your favorite boxing press conference you ever attended? My favorite boxing press conference I ever attended. That's a good question. Um, I really enjoyed the Ryan Garcia Tank Davis press conference last year because I like the part when Leonard Ellerbe told Oscar De La Hoya, "You're asleep at the wheel and you're not paying attention, and that's why we took all your fucking fighters." That was pretty hype. If Jake Paul gets knocked the fuck out by Mike Tyson, I'll send it. I'll send BT 20 if there is a way to send it anonymously. Yeah, you can cash app it to me. You can cash app it to me. You could do whatever you want, champ. But shout out to everyone here, man. The untouchable True School Sports Empire. 54 days in. We're in like Flynn. I gotta say, man, any of y'all who don't like at least train to stay in shape, like going to the boxing gym, I recommend it. You sleep a lot better. I've been sleeping like a baby the last 2 days. Like I've been getting the best sleep I've probably ever gotten in my entire life. It's been world class. So if y'all want to know how you can sleep better, go to the gym and just train for an hour or two. Danny Drew says Mike will knock the fuck out of Jake Paul. I hope so. That's what we need. We need that for the sake of boxing. What are your thoughts on Carlos Cuadras versus Jason Maloney? That's a good fight. Now I get my Maloney's mixed up. Is Jason Maloney, is he the one? Is Jason Maloney the one that got knocked out by Junto? I'm pretty sure he is. That's a good fight. You know, Cuadras has picked up some good wins. I forgot who he beat. He beat somebody recently to become the interim champion, and he's kind of had a bit of a resurgence. So we know Cuadras is no easy out for anybody. He always comes to fight, and with Maloney coming off a big knockout loss, it's a great crossroads fight. Can't complain about it. Facts, and plus being out in the sun contributes. But yeah, it does. That it does. So tomorrow, I'm probably gonna go for a nice long run. Put a nice 10-mile run in tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good fight. It's a good little fight. Maloney and what's his name, and Cuadras. That's on the undercard of Kambosos Loma, right? I think I saw that before I went on live. They're fighting on the undercard of Kambosos Loma on May 11th. What made Mike Tyson? What made Mike Tyson still the biggest star of boxing today? I think because Mike Tyson, first of all, he's been in the limelight for so long. He was the youngest. He was the youngest undisputed champion of all time. He has been in a lot of movies. He was in like WWE. He was in some of the biggest fights ever. You know, he just had that aura. I think Don King did a great job of selling the whole baddest man on the planet image when it came to Mike, because Mike Tyson was a bad man. No matter what any of these boxing hipsters try to tell you and say Mike Tyson was overrated, no. Like, Mike Tyson was a bad man. And I just think that also the way he articulates himself, Mike Tyson's a very wise man, a very intelligent man who's got a lot of life experiences. So a lot of things that Mike Tyson says in interviews, they transcend boxing. They can be used to for the average everyday human being in the regular life, right? So I just think he's relatable. That's why he's so popular. Did you used to go to the fights with Travis Gotti in LA? He was in rehab recently. Yeah, shout out to Travis Gotti, man. He's one of the YouTube box community OGs. I remember when he was a big. I met Travis once. We went to I covered the Roman Gonzalez Cuadras fight, and he was there, and I did a long interview with Travis Gotti, and I know like his channel, his original channel, because back in the day, Travis had a pretty big channel back in the day, but then it got shut down because he used to say wild stuff. And yeah, I don't really talk to Travis like that anymore. We used to talk here and there like in 2017, 2018 on Facebook, but you know, whatever he's doing, man, I hope he's well. I hope Travis Gotti's good. God bless him, and may God comfort him, man. I got nothing bad to say about Travis. Mike Tyson, you will never win with him. He can fight and he's crazy. Either he whoops your ass or he kills you. There's no winning with him. Listen, man. Listen. As much as I'm gonna talk trash about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, I'm gonna go live for that fight, and I'm gonna be cheering my ass off for Mike Tyson. And if he knocks Jake Paul the fuck out, if Mike Tyson knocks out Jake Paul, he's the fighter. He's my fighter of the year. I don't care what happens in boxing. What y'all think? If Mike Tyson knock out Jake Paul at age 60, is he the fighter of the year? Because I think so. 60 years old, knocking out young men, showing that he's still the baddest man on the planet. We're 40 minutes deep, so we'll go 20 minutes, and we'll make it a solid hour. So make sure you guys get questions in. If you haven't liked already, smash that like button. And yeah. Have you seen the Jake versus Mike face-off? Jake actually looked a bit shook. I did see it, but I didn't put much stock into it. He's got to get Jake's. He's got to be get Jake's ass up out of here. I hope so. I know Jake Paul was down here in Miami. He said he was at the Boxar gym watching Dave Benavidez spar. One of the kids from one of the gyms that I train at was actually over there sparring Benavidez today. So I'm sure I'll hear about it really soon when I go to the gym. Anthony Joshua, 50 million. Ngannou, 20 million. Is Joshua versus Ngannou the richest non-title fight in box history? That's a great question. Sounds about right. Sounds like it could be. And by the way, Bobby, good to see you, man. Hope all is good with you in the Philippines, man. I can't think of a fight. Maybe Conor. I mean, I don't remember what the numbers were from Conor versus Floyd, but that wasn't a title fight, so maybe that. Alex says, BT, where are you going to be 5 years from now? That's a great question. It's a question I don't like to ponder too much because I'm really trying to get into the art of focusing on winning the day in front of me. But let me see. I'm 29 now, so in 5 years I'll be 34, which is kind of crazy. But I think I'm getting better in life as I get older. So by the time I'm 34, I'm gonna have me a nice little spot somewhere here in South Florida. I'm going to have well over 100,000 subscribers. I'm going to be on my way to the Boxing Hall of Fame. And if God permits, I'll probably have become a become a boxing manager by then and produced at least one world champion, guided at least one fighter to a world title. That's, penthouse, Shit, and I'll tell you this, man, I'm not gonna really think about it too much because I feel like I gotta take things slow, man. That's my biggest problem in life is that I rush things. So, there's a particular person of the opposite sex that I do like, but, I'm gonna take it slow. Learn how to be friends. Learn how to be friends with the women you care about, that type of thing. I don't know if that answers your question, but all I'm trying to say is I'm going to be very successful in boxing. I'm going to be very successful in boxing, and I think that you guys are going to really enjoy the journey. And I'm going to be going to a lot of fights, and God willing, I just pray that I'm healthy, and my pops is still here, and that I'm a good example to the people that are close to me, like my relatives, my younger siblings, all that stuff. My friends, all that stuff. Just I can't even think about 5 years from now. I just gotta really just be appreciative of the day, and you guys should too, because Mr. Pro said it best. He says tomorrow is not promised. Unfortunately, no, it's not. Danny Drew says, have you ever boxed or been in a street fight? Well, I train pretty consistently, but as far as competing, I never competed. I've sparred a number of rounds. I've sparred like local pros and stuff. But at this point, I just train to stay in shape. As far as being in a street fight, I've been in a street fight and I'm okay. So you don't see me with any messed up parts of my face or anything that looked like I got my ass beat or anything like that. So you can tell I did pretty good. Is her name Seniesa Estrada? No, it's not Seniesa Estrada, and I'm not gonna tell y'all who it is, but no, it is not Seniesa Estrada. God bless Seniesa Estrada though. My dad said the fight at the club. No, yeah, that fight and a couple other ones when I was in school, but that's about it. I got in a fight at school and I put hands on this dude. I felt like Lomachenko in there. Yeah, I had a couple of those. We used to fight a lot. Should Madison Square Garden be the venue for when he comes back to America? I really do think that one of the big fights for Inoue in the States is going to wind up being him versus Bruce Carrington at Madison Square Garden. Bruce Carrington's a New Yorker. He's exciting. He's likable. He gets knockouts. I definitely think that Bruce Carrington versus Inoue in a year or two could develop into one of the biggest matchups in the featherweight division. But if not New York, I would like to see him Inoue in LA. Give me Inoue in LA against Angelo Leo too. That's another one. Either Inoue versus Shushu at the Garden or Inoue versus Angelo Leo at the Staples Center or whatever they call it now. I like those two fights for him in America. Which is a good thing, but Jake Paul wants to be from the streets. I don't know why. A lot of rich kids want to be from the streets because they feel like by being from the streets that makes them cool. But one thing about it is anybody who's really from the hood or really from the ghetto or really from the streets, they're not trying to stay in the streets. They're not trying to stay in that mentality. They're trying to level up because they've really been there, you know? But you can't tell that to people like Jake Paul. The question is Carrington going to be at 126 long enough? He looks kind of big. Yeah, that's my question. You know, he seemed. I mean, right now, I interviewed him when I was in New York for the Ford Komatov fight, and I also had a conversation with him off the record. And from what we spoke about, you know, he gave me all the indications that he hasn't had any problems recently making the weight. So for now, he's a 26-pounder. BT, do you like Madison Square Garden or MGM? Oh, I love the MGM. Give me the MGM Grand. I love. First of all, I love Vegas. Right, Vegas is like my second home. So I'm gonna definitely say the MGM Grand, just because I like being in Vegas and the MGM Grand. When you go to the MGM Grand and you see that big green building with the big old David Copperfield ad in the front, you just feel like you're in the big times. You feel like you've been something. You made it in life. You know, so. We'll go with that. MGM is beautiful. Great casino. Beautiful, like, just architecture. And it's where the stars go, man. It's where big-time boxing resides. All the great fighters have... I mean, don't get me wrong. Madison Square Garden is still great, but I like the MGM. Carrington better get the belt by 2025 then, because Inoue has no time fighting a non-title bout. Yeah, that right now I think that's what he wants to do, and he's ranked. And I think before the end of this year, I think Bruce Carrington winds up probably fighting either Ruben Villa or he winds up fighting like Robeisy Ramirez, because he's very close to both those guys in the rankings. They're both with top rank, so it makes a lot of sense. From a promotional standpoint, but yeah, Alex, I'm going to achieve all those things. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Definitely subscribe. How would you say what depth of boxing makes it argue the hardest sport to master at the highest level? Oh, my God. So before you even get to like the actual in-the-ring part, the part that's just as important is the business side of it, like knowing when to take the right fights at the right time. That's why you need to have a good team behind you. But as far as the actual boxing, I mean, look, first of all, you got to be conditioned to fight for 36 minutes under severe pressure, right? Then, you know, you never know when a fight will happen. You know, you could sprain your ankle. You could throw a jab and your rotator cuff can tear. You could tear your bicep like many fighters have. You can get your eye closed shut. And guess what? Whether you get your eye closed shut, your bicep torn, or any of these things happen, you can't show your opponent that you're in pain. You can't show. You gotta act like nothing happened to you, right? So, like, for example, right, in other sports like soccer or basketball, when these guys get an injury, they stop, they wince on the ground, and they are encouraged to stop and wince on the ground so that they can get medical treatment. Well, guess what? Boxing is the one sport where you don't stop and wince on the ground. You do not show weakness. Any form of weakness is looked down upon. It's frowned upon in boxing. So just the psychological aspect of remaining strong throughout the course of a whole 12-round fight, that's what makes the hardest sport. The mental aspect of it. When you run out of gas and there's still 4 rounds left and you still got to box for 12 more minutes in the ring, and it feels like an eternity, and you feel like you can't go no more, but you have to go more, and you got a guy coming to punch your head off your shoulders. I mean, the best way I think the best way you're gonna find that out is go to your local boxing gym and just go spar. Just go spar for a couple rounds. And when you get really tired and you get pushed to that point of exhaustion, spar more rounds after that, and you will start to understand on a very small level what the fighters go through. Because I felt that myself sometimes. I go to the gym, I spar, I gas out. There's still 2 more rounds to spar. I want to get out of there, but I can't get out of there because I can't be soft. I can't be, you can't show that weakness. So just to behave like a fighter is honestly, to behave like a fighter is to be a man in its purest form. And I think that's what's the hardest part about being a boxer. You be a soccer player, they kick you the wrong way one time. You draw a penalty, you draw a yellow card. In basketball, LeBron James gets flicked in his head. And he's on the ground, he draws a foul for his team. Well, there's none of that in boxing. You can, there's been fighters that have faked low blows and things like that. Those things do happen, but generally speaking, it doesn't happen. So that's what I think makes it the hardest sport in the world. What do you guys think? Do you think Nick Ballsack got robbed against Ray Vargas? Yes, I do think that Nick Ball got robbed against Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas ran for cover. He ran for his damn life. And Ray Vargas set Mexican boxing back 100 years with that shambolic performance. Yeah, Nick Paul wasn't pretty. Yes, he was dirty, but you Mexican, man. You're supposed to sit there and fight. Ran from a British fighter. That ain't Mexican. That's what I think. What do y'all think? Nick Ball was in a judo match. He might as well have been. Because Ray Vargas is trying to be, at a quinceañera, hugging him and trying to do the salsa and try to dance to his favorite corridos. He wasn't trying to fight. He was trying to. So it was both. I think Ray Vargas didn't really, after a couple rounds, he just kept holding Nick Ball. And Nick Ball got tired of it. So being the physically stronger man, he imposed himself and threw him to the ground. But then Nick Ball got dirty too. And I think the referee did a bad job of policing, the dirty tactics. What do you know about corridos? Listen, man. All them times all that time I spent in Vegas, going to fights in LA and Texas. You don't think I heard some corridos? You don't think I heard some Chalino Sanchez? You don't think I heard some Lenin Ramirez? Come on, man. Who do you think who do you think you're talking to, Al? Messi is a boxer in soccer. He likes to dribble through and shrug off hard tackles coming. Yeah, Messi's dope. I like Messi. South Florida, stand up. Ray Vargas will never fight like a Mexican fighter. Nah, man, he's the least Mexican fighter there is. How you gonna be Mexican and run? How you gonna be Mexican and run for cover against a British fighter? That's not how it works. That's not how it's supposed to go. Granted, Nick Ball doesn't fight like most British fighters, but you guys catch my drift. Since Tank want to post pictures of him walking around at 138 and shit, he said, in a way, should fight Tank, but make him come down to 120 and a half with an 11.5 pound rehydration. Hey, yo, in a way, going to be the A side. Because what did Floyd say? He got a country behind him, a country. Yeah, man. All right, guys, 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up and out of here. But it's been good being back, giving you all some solid boxing talk. Get your questions in. We here, the Untouchable. Intocable. Sorry if I misread my question. What is the European boxing style? When people use that term, the European boxing style, what they're referring to is normally guys that fight very upright, textbook 1-2 punches, and guys that have a bit of an awkward rhythm. So that's like the best way I would classify the European style. Luke Campbell is definition of a European style fighter. Vargas was taller and he had the reach. Exactly, and he just didn't know how to use it. What are your thoughts on Christian and Billy? I like Christian and Billy. Christian and Billy is someone that I think that, you know, is a fun fighter to watch. I think he's a guy that I like to see fight for a world title. I don't know if he'll win a world title, but I just like watching him fight because he's strong, he's stocky, he's compact, and he likes to push these guys backwards. So I would like to see him do that and fight for the world title. But obviously we know that Canelo has all the belts, and 168 division is pretty much held hostage under Canelo's watch. So, you know, we'll see we'll see what the fine folks at Top Rank can do for him now, because now he signed a co-promotional deal with them. But I like him. My top 5 favorite rappers of all time. That's a great question. So my top 5 favorite rappers of all time. We'll go Jay-Z. We'll go Jay-Z. Nas. Fonte from Little Brother, if you guys know Fonte. Who else? That's tough, man. You put me on the spot. I'm trying to name the guys I like listen to a lot. Jay-Z, Fonte, Nas. I'll throw my boy Paul Rice 23 in there because he's my guy, he's my friend, but he's a good rapper too. And then we'll go with let's see. That's hard, man. That's hard. You're asking me hard questions. We'll go with De La Soul. F it. We'll go with De La Soul. So we'll go with them 5. Do you want to own all 4 major titles? You can buy them from the second market. I don't want to own all of them. I probably just get like the Ring Magazine since it's the only one that matters. The Ring Magazine and the EBU title. Those are the only 2 titles I want to buy. Jada. Oh yeah, I like Jadakiss. Jadakiss. I like Jadakiss. I like. Do I like Bone Thugs Harmony? I listen to him sometimes. I like Bone Thugs. Yesterday I was listening to like Project Pat. What about Jake Paul? Since he has some nice rap music. No, not Jake Paul. I like John Cena. John Cena is the best rapper of all time. He says, "Oh, you really East Coast?" Yeah, I am. I'm a very East Coast guy. So a lot of stuff I like is a lot of East Coast stuff. Benny the you know what? I forgot to mention Benny the Butcher. Benny the Butcher is one of my favorite rappers. I listen to a lot of Benny the Butcher. BT, I noticed that you mentioned that Angelo Leo is going to fight Inoue's former opponent. Is he the opponent that Angelo announced for his upcoming fight? Angelo hasn't announced an opponent for his upcoming fight, at least not to my knowledge. I haven't seen anything, but the opponent he's fighting his next fight is not a former Inoue opponent. But I would like to see him start fighting some former Inoue opponents so that he has more common opponents, so it's a more makeable fight. BT, have a good one, bro. I gotta go. Keep up the lives. I plan to stay here for 10 minutes but ended up staying for. Okay, appreciate you, man. It was time well spent. God bless, JK. Wu-Tang Clan. I like Wu-Tang. You know, K Rhino. He's so underground. He's better than Jay-Z. He's very underground. You're really pulling out like underground. LeBron or MJ? Oh, come on, Michael Jordan. Like 100 times over MJ. I mean, 100 times over LeBron. Let's say. He says Drake. You can't leave out Drake, BT. I mean, I listen to Drake sometimes, but I gotta be in a mood. I can't just listen to Drake. That's gotta be a mood. BT, who would you match Nicholas Floss with next? I was trying to figure that out, but you know what? I would like to see Nicholas Flaus fight. Like if I had it my way, he would fight Conor Benn, but that's not happening because Conor Benn's gonna fight Manny Pacquiao. Maybe he could fight someone like I don't know. It all depends because Nicholas Flaus doesn't really have a weight class. He's been fighting at 54 and 47. So maybe Nicholas Flaus against Nicholas Flaus just beat Lucas Santa Maria. Luke Santa Maria fought Jesus Ramos. So maybe I would say Nicholas Flaus versus Jesus Ramos would be a good fight. Let's go with that. Shout out to everybody here, man. I appreciate all the comments, man. It's good to be here, you know. Late Night with BT, the Untouchable. Day 54. Past or present fighters, who do you think could have beat Floyd Mayweather? Thomas Hearns would have beat Floyd. I think Tommy Hearns would have beat Floyd. Right now, it's tough. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna go with Tommy Hearns. I think Tommy Hearns' range and his punching power at that size would have given Floyd a lot of problems. But look, guys, I've got my my 1 hour in. Just wanted to come get it in and give you guys a proper live today because the last two lives haven't been really like all that great. But listen, you guys take care. You know, be blessed. I appreciate all the support. Gonna start pumping out some content because I've been a bit like lethargic recently, but good to see everybody here. Hope everybody's good and just yeah, take care. God bless. Jesus says he wants 10 more minutes. What do you guys think? 10 more minutes? Should I go 10 more minutes? Y'all want an encore? 10 more minutes? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys want 10 more minutes? All right, I'll give you guys 10 more minutes, but I gotta get off at some point because it is late. But yeah, Flaus versus Paddy Donovan in Ireland. That could be a good fight. I think Flaus has put himself in position for a lot of good fights. Even Flaus against Pistol Pete Dobson, I think would be a good fight. Because Pete Dobson just fought Conor Benn in a good fight, but then Pete's made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. He made good money from that fight, from what I heard. So I think Pete may not take a Nicholas Flaus fight. You know, it's not the most attractive option in the world. He's a higher risk, low reward opponent. He's a guy that man, Nicholas Flaus is dangerous. He's athletic. He can punch with both hands. I mean, he's not no easy out. And as we've seen over the last couple of fights, if you're not as athletic as him and you don't have a good sense of timing, and you can't get in a position to hit him, like we saw with Santa Maria tonight, your ass is grass. You cooked. Ooh, that's a great... You know what, Jesus M? You just named it. That's the fight that's got to be made next. Nicholas Flaus against Brian Norman Jr. That's what... Because Brian Norman Jr. just fought Boca Chica, Janos Figueroa, who beat Flaus, right? Brian Norman Jr. is a loss waiting to happen. I think Top Rank needs to match him with Flaus to see what he's got. And look, when they make that fight, Top Rank can put options in Flaus' contract so that if he wins, he becomes a top-ranked fighter, and then they'll get a chance to see what Norman can do. If Norman beats him, then Norman is going to be someone that can be taken more serious because Nicholas Flaus is just running through everybody. I wish EA Sports would have come out with a new Fight Night game. Me too, because these British people, the Steel City Interactive, the people that are supposed to be making the Undisputed game, they're not really doing a whole lot. Like they have it for PC, but they got to release it for the console. They got to make it mainstream for the people, and they just taking their sweet time. So it's like, I played Undisputed on PC before at Sean Tatel's house. Like, it's a fun game. It's really good. Just take the same game and put the shit out for console. It's not hard. Let's not make things harder than it has to be. You know, that's part of the reason why boxing isn't as mainstream as it used to be, because there's no video game. Like video games for sports and leagues is like the best marketing tool there is. Will Raul Cordial dare take on Nicholas Flaus? I don't think Golden Boy would do that fight. I think Golden Boy is gonna protect Carrillo and put him in winnable fights. Um, they gotta really, I think, their matchmakers gotta really see something in the armor of Flaus to put him in. And right now, Flaus is showing a lot of positive traits. You know, the ability to counterpunch, the ability to box, get knockouts. I mean, it's not no easy, it's not no cakewalk. And so I don't know if they're gonna want to do that. Plus, he's ranked, so they may already have other fights in the works with guys that are already in the rankings for a guy like Cudillo. But I'll love that fight. I think that'd be a great fight for the division. Exactly, you're right, BT, and that's why I think this boxing era is underrated. Yeah, there's a lot of talented fighters, like a lot of great things happening in boxing right now. As far as like the fighters we have in this era, but nobody will know about it because not nobody, but like they're not getting the maximum marketing because we don't have things as simple as a boxing video game, and it's been well over a decade since we had a proper boxing video game. And then the people that are getting the licensing for the fighters that are supposed to put out the boxing video game were 3 years. It's been 3 years since we heard about what was first called Esports Boxing Club. Now it's Undisputed. We still don't got the damn game. We're still waiting for the game. So make of that what you will. After Tank Davis versus Frank Martin, who is the proper next opponent for him at 135? Well, he's got to beat Frank Martin, right? And I listen. I always say we fight the fights for a reason. Frank Martin's explosive. Frank Martin can box. I just think Frank Martin's lack of experience is going to be the probably his undoing in this fight. But he's got a puncher's chance. Probably the most explosive puncher he's fought at 135. But I would like to see Tank fight Shakur Stevenson. Flaus weighed 235 pounds as a kid. I was impressed with him tonight. Awesome. Yeah. Nicholas Flaus is a great example of what happens when you fight. He's showing the world that you can go from an opponent to a contender if you're doing the right things in the gym, if you're shining bright on fight night against opponents. I mean, not once, not twice, but 3 times he's been in fights that he was supposed to lose, and he winds up coming out the victorious. So now I look at Flaus as a full-fledged, legit contender who deserves opportunities. And thank God we got platforms, well-ran platforms like ProBox TV that give opportunities to Nicholas Flaus, to guys like him. Do you have a Zotto versus Goulamirian prediction? I don't have one. I have to watch more Goulamirian. From what I've seen in the past, I'd probably say Zotto should win, but I don't have like a legit prediction, so don't give me some time. I think this era is overrated because they got a bunch of yes men and they're being I think it's overrated when it comes to like the glamour divisions, like 35, 47, them divisions, But I feel like, when we look at like the lower weight classes, 115, 112, 108, they're doing great things. The heavyweight division is starting to pick up again. So it's not all bad, it's not all hype jobs, Dennis Baranchyk versus Navarrete winner versus Murataya. I say Murataya destroys both in the same night. Jesus M. I would like to see Murataya get a shot. Murataya is supposed to fight on the card later this month in Arizona. I don't know if he's got an opponent yet, but he's got to keep winning and looking impressive because he's not a guy that does a whole lot of talking. So when he does get in the ring, he's got to let the performances speak for him and speak loudly. And so far, so good. He's been doing that. He's someone that I want to see fight as much as possible, but I would love that. ProBox TV is making waves. Great production and great comment. Yeah, they are. They are. And I know the whole staff there. Daniel Rubin, Chris Glover. Who else we got at ProBox? We got Daniel Rubin, Chris Glover, Chris Algieri, who I've known for years. Back when he was fighting, he's covered his fights. Marquez, Paulie, Beatrice Galice. Shout out to the lovely Beatrice Galice, They're doing great things at ProBox, and I'm looking very forward to going back to April the 10th when Angelo Leo headlines their show there, Can't wait for it. I'm salivating to go to that card. Could Liam Wilson beat Oscar Valdez? Yes, he's a very live dog in that fight. I'm not sure if he's I'm not sure if anything. I'm not sure if he's the underdog, what the odds are, but yeah, he could. Do I know anything about? I know that guy Jesus. Like I've heard of him because he trains out in L.A. with a coach that I recently met out there during my visit to L.A. Jonathan Wally. Shout out to Coach Jonathan Wally. That's all I know. I just know them that he's from like a European country and that he trains with Jonathan Wally and that he's heavyweight. But I don't know anything about him as a fighter. So my knowledge on that guy whose name I can't pronounce, that's as far as my knowledge goes with him right now. But I'm sure I'll know more in the future. But guys, I gave my 10 minutes. So look, on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. You guys take care. Be blessed. I had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. And yeah, I'll be pumping out more content tomorrow. So stay tuned. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.